everybody, this is CR number 24, extended response helper video. It says, first of all, what is the y-intercept of the line? All right, well, the first thing you have to do is we have to identify where the y-intercept is. This is my y-axis right here. This is my x-axis right here. So the y-axis will show me where the y-intercept is. So I follow that line down until I see where it touches my graph, which is right here. So notice that the scale goes up every 4. So if this is 8, this is 12, this is 16. Guess what this one is? 20. So my y-intercept is actually 20. So I'm going to go ahead and put that. If you go ahead and put it as a coordinate, it would look like this, 0, 20. So you can use that as well. What does the y-intercept mean in terms of this problem? Okay, so here we go. We know that the cost for the theme park is $20, and I have not purchased any tickets yet to go on any rides. So the y-intercept represents the cost it is to get into the theme park. So I haven't even paid for any rides yet, but I've already paid $20. If you want to say that, you can. You can also say that maybe it cost $20 to park, and I didn't even buy any tickets yet. So either one would be very acceptable. I am just going to say it costs $20 in parking before I go into the park. Bam, that's what that stands for. Next statement, what is the slope of the line? Well, we have a graph, which makes our life a little bit easier because now I'm going to pick 2 beautiful points and they're all identified on this graph, which I love. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick this point right here. And I'm going to pick this point right here. And I'm going to do what's called rise over run. We are all so familiar with that. Rise over run. Try to remember the rise is up and down. The run goes left or right. So if I start on my first point, working left to right, I am going up 1 box. But you have to remember, 1 box is actually worth 4 in this scenario because this is 28. This is 32. So actually when I'm going up 1 box, it's equivalent to $4. So my rise is 4. Now let's take a look at my run. Notice down here, every single line is worth 1, which kind of makes it a little bit easier. So my run is 1, 2, because I move over 2 boxes. So if I simplify 4 over 2, I get a slope of 2. So right here, I'm going to put m is equal to 2 because remember, m stands for slope in this lovely equation right here, which we're about to write. So what is the equation of this line? Well, now that I know my m and I know my b, which is my y-intercept, I can go ahead and write my equation. Y equals, remember the m is the slope, so I have 2. That always goes in front of the x. And my y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis, which is at a positive 20. Bam, there's my equation. I'm done with the first question. Let's go ahead down to the second one. The second one says, using the slope formula, find the slope of a line passing through the points -2, 2, and 2, -1. Show your work. Well, this is what we've been doing in class, okay? So we've been doing the slope formula that looks like this. It's change in y over change in x, because we all know that that is rise over run. And rise deals with the y coordinates, x deals with the run, right? So here we go. Looking at these 2 points, I'm going to focus only on my changes in y. So I have a -2, 2 as my first coordinate, and my second coordinate is 2, -1. The reason why I'm doing this and writing them vertically is because it makes it easier for me to line up my y's and to line up my x's. So right now I'm only focusing on the y's. Here we go. So my change in y is written like this. I take my first coordinate of 2. My change in y means subtracting, and I'm subtracting a -1. So remember, change just means to subtract. And whatever you're subtracting, it's going to be that second y coordinate. There's my change in y's. Now let's look at my change in x's. I'm going to go ahead and change my color to make it easier. And I've got a negative 2 here and a positive 2 here. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my negative 2. And the change in x means subtraction, because we want to try to figure out how much does the x change between negative 2 and positive 2. There it is. Well, hopefully you remember minusing a negative is the same as adding a positive, and 2 plus 1 is 3. Then I'm going to go ahead and take negative 2, and I'm going to subtract 2 more, and I get a total of negative 4. So my slope is negative, I'm going to write it over here, m, slope, is equal to negative 3/4. Beautiful. So now it says to graph the points on the grid to the right, then connect the points. So I'm going to start with just that. Here we go. I'm going to graph negative 2, comma 2. Here it is. I'm then going to graph 2, comma negative 1, which is right here. Then it says to connect them. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a straight line through them. Right here. There it is. Sorry about my line. It might be a little bit funky. There we go. Let's go ahead and put some arrows on the end. Okay. Then it says after I do that, that I have to verify the slope is the same as in part A. So here I go. First of all, it's going downhill, which is awesome because my slope was negative. So now I'm going to do rise over run. Well, I'm here on the left side because I always read left to right. So I'm starting on this point here. And do I have to go up or do I have to go down to be even with my new point? Well, hopefully you know we are going down. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. So I have to go down 3 in order to be even with that new point. Down 3 is negative 3 because I'm going down. And then I have to go to the right 1, 2, 3, 4. So guess what? My slope is negative 3/4. It works. Woohoo! So let's look at the y-intercept. Well, it looks to me like the y-intercept is somewhere around here. I'm not 100% sure, and I'm not really a big fan that this line isn't really cutting through a point evenly, but I, for the sake of this helper video, I'm going to assume that that point, I'm going to make it nice and big for you to see it, this point is at 1/2. Okay, it's halfway between 0 and 1. So I'm going to go with the y-intercept, or my letter B, is going to be equal to 0.5, because that's equivalent to 1/2. Now I'm going to write the equation in y equals mx plus b form. So I always start with y equals. We know my slope is negative 3/4 because I found it in 2 different ways. And the slope is replacing m in the equation, which goes in front of x. And then plus 0.5 because it's a positive 1/2 as to where it crosses the y-axis. So there's my equation to match my line. Good luck with yours. Bye-bye.